Howdy, folks, and as As promised yesterday, today we're taking a look at the U.S. vehicles, and then in a day or maybe 2 days at the very most, because give me some time to play the mission and figure out and stuff. I will upload the Srinkel's mission for Call to Arms, but today we're taking a look at the U.S. vehicles in Call to Arms. I figured, though, that it was also cool. I actually went through and I noticed that civilians actually have a lot of stuff too, besides the Warthog and the Black Hawk and the Mi-4 and the Hueys that I already showed you. So I wanted to very quickly go over the stuff that they have in game for the civilians, which, I guess just adds to the how do you say it? Well, it just adds to the kind of like realism of a like game where you have like modern cars, because cars are everywhere nowadays, like in modern cities and just like rural areas. They're pretty much everywhere. So like a war or a battlefield without cars or civilian vehicles just seems weird. Anyway, let's take a quick look. We have a train. Oh, damn, that's a big thing. We have a train cabin, which is just insanely big. Looks very neat. Looks like, I guess, like Eastern European or maybe even like Asian, like Chinese or Russian. We have a train engine, which is the locomotive. It doesn't look like it, but it's definitely a locomotive as far as that's definitely a locomotive. We have a train fuel wagon, which is a recipe for a disaster. A random train wagon where you can put on tanks and stuff, and a container. That's the train. It does look neat. It's probably just like a reskinned version. Well, it's not a reskinned version. That's not. I was gonna say it's a reskinned version, but look at the textures on this thing. Like you can see the little scratch marks on the. I'm not sure what it's called on the maybe deer shield. No, it's not. It's not called a deer shield, but it's something with deer. Look at like the scratch marks on this fuel tank. It just looks like you can see the rust. Now, I'm not a graphics whore, but I'm a graphics slut, which is a little bit below a whore, and it does look really good. Moving on to the tram, of course, this would be on tram tracks in a city, a cabin, and the engine. And again, it just adds to the realism. I really love this tram. It just looks like we're like back in 1990 or like 1980 in like a Russian town or like a Russian. Let's do it like this. It just looks cool. So the tram done. Let's look at the trucks. A regular truck, a truck with a trailer, which looks a lot like any Dutch truck over here. A trailer cement mixer, and a truck trailer closed, which I'm not really sure what the difference is between. Hang on. Oh, look. I was wrong. So that's cool. So this is like for like, I guess you could put dead bodies in there for like I mean, that's pretty messed up, but I mean, like, for like a campaign, like, let's say you could have like, you could say that like some terrorist group just like killed people and put them in the back of that truck. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of rough, but that's the trucks. And then we'll go over the vehicles really quickly. We have an ambulance. Well, sorry, well, I clicked on the ambulance, but I got a car. We have the car. We have the ambulance, which looks really cool. Ambulance 101. We have a taxi, which looks a lot like a taxi, apparently. Without the... Where did the thing go on the top? Oh, well, that just disappears. We have a giant excavator. Oh, misplaced that. Here we go. Which looks really cool. It's just like a random excavator. But we have... Oh, how did I get rid of this? Oh, here we go. We have a massive fishing boat, which I'll just put over here. Which also has a dead fishing boat over here. We have an NSW rigid inflatable, which has machine guns on it, and enough room to seat like, what, 10, 11 people? 1, 5, so that's 6, that's 13 people. That's quite good. A rubber raft also looks pretty cool. And a truck small, which I'm not sure why that is a thing, but apparently it's, just a smaller truck. So that's all the civilian vehicles. Now let's take a quick look at the American vehicles in the game, because that's what you're probably here for. The Humvee M240, which is basically, like a Humvee with a light machine gun on it. It looks really nice. It has that armor for the, for the machine gunner, so he's kind of secured against, like, incoming shots from enemy infantry. Not gonna get sniped out too easily. This should be like thick armored glass as far as I'm concerned, so that should be pretty doable. The Humvee with the 50 cal with the M2hb, literally the same thing, but it just replaced the machine gun with a 50 cal, which looks damn impressive. And the coolest one is the Mark 19 grenade launcher. This thing is that, like, a Humvee with like that on can definitely wreak havoc amongst, you know, units like infantry or units like in cover, machine gun nests, mortar teams. I'd like to see the range in this thing. The question is, am I smart enough to know what I'm gonna do? So we'll just spawn 2 guys, and I click on this. Okay, I am smart enough to know what I'm doing. See, I am not a noob. I'm not a total noob editor apparently. Okay, this is the first person view. Oh God. Holy shit. Range is 80 meters probably. 80 meters. God damn. Okay, it's very glitchy. It's the gun itself makes it lag obviously. Let's reload. See how much ammo we have. And how many ammo fits in. Oh, I can't see that. Okay. Let me just shoot at that building and see what happens. I don't think it's actually destroying the building, but that is insane. Like, that is seriously something that you don't want to be fired. You don't want that thing to fire at like your positions, like your dug-in positions when you have like a machine gun nest or whatever. So that was the Humvee with the M19 with the M1 Abrams and the Abrams Tusk. Now, I'm not really sure. Of course, it doesn't say the difference here. The Tusk, if I can remember, is a oh, what's the difference again, guys? I'm so stupid. I'm not. No, if it was World War II stuff, I couldn't tell you immediately, but it's not World War II stuff, so it's pretty hard for me. And why am I in this mode? Hang on, this mode. There you go. I think the Tusk has more armor, right? I'm stupid, I'm aware, but like I can't tell like using this system because it says it's a fucking 80. I'm pretty sure there's a difference in armor and in a gun, but then again, I'm not that good when it comes to, or I just don't know that much stuff about like modern tanks compared to World War II. We have the M2 Bradley, which looks really cool. I think the ATGMs don't work in game yet, but they're supposed to work really soon. And this thing has a 25mm and it has an M240 coaxial, which is right there. And it just looks so cool. Love all the extra heat armor, and it just this actually looks like super HD and it looks really pretty. Look at that. That's something that I've not seen in a mod or the standard game for Let's Go 2. Like the high quality of skins in this game is just insane. Moving on to the Stryker M11 which is a ATGS vehicle, I believe it's called. It's like an anti-tank basically vehicle. Again, it has the placeholder 88mm gun, but this thing is definitely gonna able to do some damage. It's just basically a very mobile anti-tank platform. No armor, only like what 20mm of armor at the most. But this thing is gonna be very fast. It's basically like they call it armored warfare. They call it wheeled destroyers. They are very fast, but have no armor. Basically, like any tank destroyer. Basically, well, comparatively, I'd say tank destroyers have less armor overall, unless you're talking, of course, about like the exception, like the Yak Tiger and stuff like the whole tank destroyers. But I think most of the time, tank destroyers have less armor because they just they just have a bigger gun. But because the gun is bigger, the weight is heavier, and they just don't want to put on that much armor. Also, usually tank destroyers fight from ambushes and will not fight like head to head. So that's why they don't have to do like half that much armor. The M2hb Striker with the 50 cal. The Striker always intrigued me. It's a very nice looking vehicle, and I said in the video yesterday talking about the GRM vehicles that this is basically what was the vehicle? Was it the BTR 82? See, they look a lot like each other. They have basically the same structure, but just this vehicle, of course, has a different. It doesn't even say what it has. But they look a lot alike. Like the shape of the vehicle, the length, the size, the number of wheels, the everything, which makes me wonder why these vehicles look alike so much. Because it's not like, is it like a given thing that like these support vehicles should be like that size and that length and stuff? Probably for like troops to like be able to transport it. That's probably the reason why they're that size, I suppose. And last but not least, the Stryker Mark 19 with the added heat shield or anti-heat shield. To stop like to like have like RPGs prematurely explode. And this thing has that Mark 19 grenade launcher. So it's going to be really awesome at, versus infantry or light vehicles, especially because it can fire at 80 meters range, which is insane. So you can just fire out of range of RPGs, I think. And it just looks really cool with like that like kind of like rack / like, I guess like drying rack around the vehicle. Anyway, as always, I do hope you enjoyed. Next Call to Arms video will be in a day or maximum of 2, and you guys will finally get to see some Sir Hinkle's co-op, Sir Hinkle's skirmish, I should say, gameplay. But playing as USA, fighting a GRM somewhere in, I guess, like North Africa or in the Middle East, if I can remember correctly. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching. Don't you forget to stay fucking awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!
You claim this love that you never started. Once destroyed, a broken heart that was already shattered. Holding on to what we have, you take us to the edge and back.